The Tale of Two Chinatowns, Displacement and Resurgence. Welcome back to What's the Story? Today, we are exploring a Toronto neighborhood whose bustling energy and vibrant culture are a testament to resilience. We are diving into the history of Downtown Chinatown, centered at the intersection of Spadina Avenue and Dundas Street West. But to truly understand this Chinatown, you must first understand the one that came before it. The story of Toronto's Downtown Chinatown is not just one of immigration. It is a profound urban narrative of displacement, perseverance, and successful community rebuilding. It is a tale of two Chinatowns, separated by only a few blocks, but a vast gulf of social and political history. Get ready to explore how a community, forced to move by the city itself, managed to not only survive, but thrive. As always, my name is Cody. I run this channel with my partner Katie. Welcome or welcome back to What's the Story? A reminder, if you do find today's video interesting and informative, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories told by yours truly. Now grab a snack and a blanket and let's dive in. Toronto's first Chinatown, the Lost Heart. The history of Chinese immigration to Toronto began in the late 19th century. Early immigrants, facing intense discrimination and the burdens of the federal Chinese head tax, were often entrepreneurs who opened small businesses, laundries, and restaurants, which were essential to their survival. These early businesses clustered in an area just north of what is now Queen Street West, centered at the intersection of Elizabeth Street and York Street. This location, right beside the then bustling downtown core, became known as Toronto's first Chinatown. By the 1920s and 30s, First Chinatown was a true ethnic enclave. It was a place of refuge, business, and community identity, offering services that catered directly to the Chinese population that was often marginalized elsewhere in the city. Despite its importance to the community, the area was perpetually undervalued by the city government, often characterized with the same language of blight and decay used against other working-class neighborhoods. The community, though small due to restrictive immigration policies, was tightly knit, but its future was on a collision course with mid-century urban development. The eruption and the expropriation, 1950s. The catalyst for the destruction of the first Chinatown was a monument to modernist urban vision, the new Toronto City Hall and Nathan Phillips Square. In the late 1950s, the City of Toronto decided that the area surrounding the old City Hall, which is now Old City Hall, was structurally and aesthetically inadequate for a modern growing city. The bold, circular design for a new City Hall by Finnish architect Viljo Revel required a vast, open public space, a central plaza. The land needed for this public square and the surrounding municipal buildings covered the heart of the first Chinatown. The government initiated a process of expropriation, using its right to acquire private property for public use. Despite intense protest and pleas from residents and business owners who understood they were losing their homes and the economic center of their community, the city pushed forward. The residents and business owners were offered meager compensation and forced to relocate. This act was devastating. Not only did it sever the social and commercial connections established over half a century, but it also made it incredibly difficult for the displaced businesses to find affordable, contiguous commercial space elsewhere in the downtown core. The first Chinatown was systematically dismantled and ultimately paved over to create the modern, open public space we know today. The move west, the birth of Downtown Chinatown. The survival of the community depended on relocating their businesses together. The displaced residents and shop owners began to look west beyond the financial core toward the more affordable, less developed commercial districts along Spadina Avenue and Dundas Street West. This relocation was not instantaneous, but a gradual westward drift that began in the late 1950s and accelerated through the 1960s. Businesses from the first Chinatown, determined to maintain their customer base and community network, reopened along this new axis. The sheer determination of these entrepreneurs to stick together was the foundational spirit of the new enclave. Crucially, this move coincided with a fundamental shift in Canadian immigration policy. The immigration boom and the new identity, 1960s, 1980s. In the mid-1960s, Canada finally moved away from racially restrictive immigration laws, adopting a points-based system that encouraged migration from Asia and other non-European countries. This led to a massive influx of new Chinese immigrants, primarily from Hong Kong, mainland China, and other parts of Southeast Asia. These newcomers, looking for established communities and cultural familiarity, flocked to the emerging enclave along Spadina and Dundas. The few businesses that had relocated became the anchor for thousands of new residents and hundreds of new establishments. This massive injection of capital, labor, and new cultural energy transformed the scattered shops into a genuine, vibrant ethnic enclave. The new Chinatown grew exponentially, becoming much larger, more diverse, and more commercially successful than the first ever was. This new Chinatown quickly took on a dual identity. It was both a refuge for the displaced First Chinatown community and a dynamic hub for the incoming waves of new immigrants. The name Downtown Chinatown, or West Chinatown, arose to differentiate it from the historical core. Culture, commerce, and competition. Downtown Chinatown became a powerhouse of commerce and culture. Spadina Avenue became famous for its density of produce markets, bustling Chinese and Southeast Asian restaurants, traditional bakeries, and herbal medicine shops. It was, and still is, a place where the signs are bilingual, and the food represents the regional diversity of China and its diaspora. The commercial success of this Chinatown was so significant that it began to anchor other, related businesses and institutions, like the Chinese Cultural Center of Greater Toronto, which eventually moved north. It also led directly to the creation of other Chinese enclaves as the population expanded across the city. The most notable of these is East Chinatown, which developed along Broadview Avenue and Jarrett Street East. This geographic dispersal of the Chinese community is a unique Toronto feature. Unlike single Chinatown cities like San Francisco or New York, Toronto developed multiple, distinct cultural nodes. Today, Downtown Chinatown remains arguably the most iconic. It stands as a defiant monument to the community that refused to be erased. The story of its relocation from Elizabeth Street is a cautionary tale about the human cost of large-scale urban development. But the subsequent success of the community at Spadina and Dundas is a powerful story of perseverance and entrepreneurial spirit. It reminds us that a city's heart is not just found in its grand public squares, but in the communities that survive and thrive against all odds. Join us next time on What's the Story as we explore another vital chapter of urban history and ask, what's the story behind? Hey there, before you take off, we'd just like to take a second and say that we really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. Katie and I are so grateful for our beautiful community, so thank you for being a part of it. If you want to help What's the Story continue to grow, one of the easiest things you can do is leave a like on this video and consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell as well and select all notifications to stay up to date with our latest releases. We want you to know that we truly appreciate every like, sub, share, and comment that you send our way. Once again, thanks so much, and we hope to see you soon.